People often believe that the greatest dangers come with noise, gunfire, shouting crowds, breaking glass, or angry speeches. But history teaches a different lesson. The most dangerous things often arrive quietly. They come as friendly advice, warm smiles, handwritten letters, and promises spoken in low, reassuring voices. This story begins with a secret that should never have been shared, and it begins with a man who believed honesty was always the right choice. In the winter of 1847, the city of Boston, Massachusetts, was wrapped in cold air and thick fog. The streets were narrow, the buildings made of old red brick, and the harbor smelled of salt, coal smoke, and wet wood. Horse carriages moved slowly, their wheels cracking thin ice on the road. Men wore long coats and wool hats. Women held their shawls tight against the wind. America was still young then, but already restless. It was a country of opportunity and danger, of hope and betrayal. People came from Europe with empty pockets and full dreams. Some found success, many found disappointment. A few discovered something far more dangerous: power. In a modest boarding house on Hanover Street lived a man named Jonathan Hale. Jonathan was 32 years old, tall but thin, with calm gray eyes and a face that always seemed to be thinking. He was not rich, he was not famous, but he was trusted, and that trust would change everything. Jonathan worked as a clerk and record keeper for a shipping company near the Boston Harbor. His job was simple but important. He wrote down shipment details: what goods arrived, where they came from, and where they were going next. Cotton from the South, machinery from England, tools, letters, private documents, sometimes even gold. He was careful with numbers, careful with words, careful with people. At least, he believed he was. Jonathan had grown up on a small farm in New Hampshire, raised by a father who believed in honesty above all else. His father used to say, "A man's word is his only true property." Jonathan believed that sentence like a law of nature. He did not know that honesty, when given to the wrong ears, can become a weapon. One evening, after work, Jonathan stopped at a small tavern near the harbor. The place was called the Anchor's Rest. Sailors, dock workers, and merchants gathered there after long days. The air inside was warm and smelled of ale and smoke. Candles flickered on wooden tables. Jonathan did not drink much. He usually ordered tea or watered ale and sat quietly, listening. That night, someone new sat across from him. The man introduced himself as Samuel Crowley. Samuel was confident, well-dressed, and spoke with ease. He had dark hair, sharp eyes, and a smile that seemed friendly but controlled. He claimed to be a trader from New York, recently arrived in Boston to expand business connections. "Boston is a city of doors," Samuel said calmly. "You just need the right keys." Jonathan smiled politely. "I suppose that's true." They spoke about simple things at first: the cold weather, the ships in the harbor, the growing nation. Samuel was intelligent. He asked thoughtful questions. He listened carefully, too carefully. Over the next few weeks, Samuel returned to the tavern often. Always at the same time Jonathan arrived. Always polite, always interested. He never asked direct questions about Jonathan's work, at least not at first. Instead, he spoke about trust. "Too many men hide everything," Samuel said one evening. "That's why this country is divided. Fear makes liars of good people." Jonathan nodded. "I believe openness brings progress." Samuel smiled. "Exactly. Secrets rot nations from the inside." Those words stayed with Jonathan. He did not know they were bait. In early 1848, rumors spread across Boston like fire on dry grass. Gold had been discovered in California. At first, people laughed. Then ships began leaving the harbor, filled with men chasing fortune. Newspapers printed maps, stories, and wild promises. America was changing again. And with that change came information, valuable information. Jonathan's company began handling confidential shipping documents related to westward expansion, routes, supply lists, government contracts, private investments. These documents were not meant for public eyes. Jonathan knew this, but he also believed in honesty. One quiet night at the Anchor's Rest, Samuel leaned forward and lowered his voice. "Jonathan," he said softly, "may I ask you something, man to man?" Jonathan hesitated. "I suppose." Samuel's eyes held steady. "Do you believe the government always acts in the people's best interest?" Jonathan thought carefully. "I believe most men try to do what they think is right." Samuel nodded slowly. "Even when they hide things?" Jonathan paused. "Sometimes secrecy protects stability." Samuel smiled again, but this time, something behind the smile felt colder. "Or sometimes," he said, "it protects power." Jonathan did not answer, but he listened. And listening in this case was the first mistake.
Weeks passed. Samuel became more open about his own past, or at least, what he claimed was his past. He spoke of failed investments, lost family, betrayal by powerful men. He spoke like someone who understood injustice. Jonathan felt sympathy. One night, after too many long hours at work and too little sleep, Jonathan spoke more than he should have. He mentioned, casually, that some shipments were not listed in public records. Samuel did not react, but he remembered every word. By summer of 1848, Jonathan noticed small changes at work. Documents went missing, shipments were delayed, numbers did not match. His supervisor blamed clerical error, but Jonathan knew better. Someone else knew the information, someone he had trusted. One afternoon, Jonathan received an unsigned letter slipped under his boarding room door. It contained only one sentence: "Not every truth is meant to be shared." His hands trembled as he read it. For the first time, doubt entered his mind, not about others, but about himself. Jonathan began to realize something painful. Trust, once given, cannot be taken back. And secrets, once spoken, do not disappear. They travel, they grow, they destroy quietly. He did not yet know how large this destruction would become. He did not know that this small act of openness would connect him to political corruption, financial manipulation, and a chain of events that would echo through American history for decades. But the door had already been opened, and America, a nation built on ideals and ambition, was about to reveal how dangerous shared truths can be.